Hi there, I'm John Waterhouse. Welcome to the original Science of Mind as taught by the Reverend Dr. Barbara Waterhouse. This class is winding down. There's just a few left, but here you are, ready to learn from Barbara's wisdom and the wisdom of the Science of Mind. So I know you're going to have a great evening. We always start with this spiritual mind treatment. So please join me in this knowing that there is only one presence and one power. It dwells at the point of me as much as it dwells at any point anywhere in the entire universe. And if it dwells at the point of me, it dwells at the point of everyone who is hearing my words right now. And I know that that presence is all powerful and all knowing. And that as we awaken to it within ourselves, that we become more powerful and more aware of who we are. And that life keeps getting better and better. So we hear the wisdom of Barbara Waterhouse, the wisdom of the teachings of Science of Mind, and allow that to carry us into that greater knowing in everything that we think, say, and do. And certain that that is so, with gratitude in my heart, grateful for every aspect of my life, grateful for this teaching. I know this class is exceptional, and everyone that listens in and watches gains great value from it. And we let it be so. And so it is. Have a wonderful class. I'll see you at the end.
And before we do, I just want to make sure there are no last-minute questions about that lesson. You good? Cheryl.
So when you said that, like, you specifically treated for your foot, you did that for you.
Yes.
You wouldn't do that for somebody else because you wouldn't know what they would need or what would
Well, if they ask me, I will.
They ask you,
Like a lot of times people will ask that they're going in for biopsies
Okay.
and they're nervous, they're scared. They don't want it to come back malignant. You
Right.
know,
But
life would be a lot easier.
So you wouldn't make the assumption that.
No. What I do is know that whoever it is, if they've come into my awareness and I feel compelled, and often it's with the mama helicopter, which it is no accident, it flies right over this parking lot all day long, back and forth. What I'll do is I'll visualize the inside of the helicopter, know that it's filled with white light, know that whoever is in there has everything that they need to do whatever it is they choose to do. And that way, if it's, you know, their grandmother helping them over to the other side, then that's what they have. If it's getting to mission and having the emergency surgery or whatever, then that's what they have, but that's not my business.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. And I've really tried to move this community away from using this amazing teaching to micromanage every freaking little detail of their life so they don't have to feel uncomfortable, instead of opening up to this idea that says we live in a spiritual universe. We are all God beings. There is only love. Everything is great. Everything is wonderful. Of course there's more than enough. Of course we're healthy. Of course we're happy. That's the truth of us at the highest level. And for me, that is such a better use of time than trying to say that, you know, the Piggly Wiggly has the can of corn I'm looking for on sale. And that's the level that you can use this for, but I'm not thrilled when I go there. Any other questions on the control of conditions? You've learned affirmations, you've learned spiritual mind treatment, you've learned that yes, it's acceptable, although not completely encouraged that you manipulate the details of your life, and I would prefer that you rise above to a higher level. Transcendence transmutes, it does not rectify. That means we're not trying to fix it. We're trying to rise above to a greater reality, to see through God's eyes, to experience the world in more of an absolute level. That is, that everything is divine, everything is fine, every person, every situation, every experience is all the unfoldment of spirit into form. But if you've got a treat that your foot's fine, go for it. And then rise up. If you've got a treat that the check doesn't bounce, or however you would word that, you know, do that and then rise up into how loved you are and supported you are and uplifted you are, and there's nothing that you've got to be held back for or punished for. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We are light beings. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. Anything else? I love the control of conditions. That's one of our statement of principles. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. I just don't want us to stay there. Because a lot of people think that's all we're interested in. Oh, that Center for Spiritual Living, all they care about is money. So if you need money, go there. Barbara and John will teach you how to have money, and then you can go. No, that's the only reason we teach so much about money is because people use money to hold themselves back. And if you're using money to hold yourself back from being who you've come here to be, it would be a good idea to learn how to demonstrate money so that you can go on to be who you've come here to be. And I found that money is very much required in our culture. Okay? Okay, we're going on to lesson 5. I love this lesson. It is the perfect whole. It talks about mystics. It talks about being in that realm where you see through the veil. It talks about being the light, seeing the light, experiencing that. It talks about that part of us that is not physical. It talks about that greater us. And I love that. I love the way he goes from the control of conditions. Okay, let's handle that. Now let's move to some juicy love, light, spirit stuff. And one of the things he talks about is how everything is within. That it's all within. That the only God you will ever see is the God that looks back at you from the mirror. That if you're looking for God, the place to look is inside of yourself. And so if you look inside of yourself and you find something not God, you know, in traditional languaging we would say we find the devil, we find evil, we find sin and mistake and darkness and all this stuff that they tell people they have within them, then you're never going to have that experience of connecting in that blissful state of light and love to spirit. So you look inside of yourself and you've got to find the presence of the divine within you. And for me, this is very cathartic and very, very healing. You know, Science of Mind has a lot of psychological healing in it. And psychology is the study of the spirit, the psyche. So when you look inside of yourself, and that's why spiritual practice is so important, and you start to find some expansion. You start to see a little light. You start to feel your heart open and you feel some love. Then you're opening up a doorway within you to contact that greater reality. And you're only going to get there through yourself. You're not going to find it in a book. You're not going to find it in a workshop. You're not going to find it in Monday night class here. The only thing that this center can do is point you to yourself and encourage you and support you in looking at yourself, in being in you, but not just I'm going to shrink down and just be little old me. No, you're going through to open up a doorway between who you think you are and what you think life is about, and that greater reality that is, spirit is everywhere. It's a universe of light. It's vibrating and moving and all is well and there's great joy. That's the real thing that's going on. And so what we want to do is we want to connect with that. We want to feel that. And the only way to feel it is inside of yourself. And you can't get it from anybody else. Nobody's got it. You're the only one who does. And so if you've got it and you want it, then go get it. The answer to every question is within you. So if you have a question, get quiet, and open up to the answer. But to do that, you have to stop thinking that the answer to the question is in somebody else that you think is smarter than you, someone that you think has more than you, that kind of thing. The solution to every problem is within you. So you open up to it. You feel it, you experience it, you let it come out. That's why I said the law of attraction really doesn't work. You're not attracting anything to you, you're letting something come out through you to manifest into your life. You are the doorway to all that is. And so you open up that door, and as the energy of spirit moves through you into greater levels of expression in your life, then that clears you out, kind of like that hose in the muddy bucket. As the pure light of spirit, the pure love of the divine moves through you, then it washes away. And I think that's what that baptism, being reborn thing's all about. You know, it's an easier visual than the phoenix rising from the ashes. We don't have to burn up. So I think we were all witches before. We do the fire walk. It's all controlled and clear, but we don't have to just inundate our psyche with the idea of the phoenix. So let's go with we're being washed clean of whatever we thought was wrong with us, because when you open to that, it's like it fills every little nook and cranny with light and love. It transforms the energy of skeletons in the closet, things that we think we have to hide from the world. It shifts us. And as long as we're trying to find it in a therapist, in a lover, in a car, or money, or the new diet craze, then it's always outside of ourselves. And if we reach outside of ourselves, we miss opening up that doorway within us. Now we can create it on the outside, and we can believe it is on the outside, that it's this product that made me whole. But it's not. It was your choosing to project it onto this product and your belief that it would make you whole that made you whole. But I tell you, if you can find that place inside of you that is the doorway to all that is, it will give you so much more than any product or person or item could ever give you. Because the person, the product, and the item is limited. And it will give you what you have decided it will give you. But when you open up and you step into that realm that the mystics step into, it is so much more, because it's not your conscious mind trying to specify the conditions based on how you think you're going to feel more comfortable. It changes you. It just changes you. He talks about mystics that have seen the light that physically go blind for days because they've seen the true light. They can't see on this plane for a while. Everything is inside of us. And when we stop trying to get it from the outside, then we find a doorway to something bigger than whatever it was we were trying to get. So, and this has happened. Treat for me that I get Dr. So-and-so for the surgery because that's the best doctor. Now you can do that. And in that paradigm, you're going into surgery, you're believing that you've got the best doctor, and then that best doctor gives you the best circumstance of that surgery. That's one way to do it. Another way is to open up to that presence of spirit itself. And watch and see if there's a surgery. If there is a surgery, with that presence of spirit, whoever the best person for you in that room is, will be there. Whatever the thing that's most in alignment with that presence of the divine will be there, even if it's not the one you thought it would be. So we limit ourselves based on our preconceived ideas about how we want to micromanage our lives, or we open up to this idea that says, I see the presence of the divine. I feel it inside of me. Well, you arrogant ass. No, this is spirit. This is spirit moving through me. I see with God eyes. I feel with God love. I look at the world totally different now. That's where we want to go. And so yes, he gives us control of conditions. First, he talks about man's relationship with the spiritual universe and gives us kind of our place. And then he talks about law and how that works. And then he brings us into this is the way you can manifest, but this is who you really are. And that's where we are now. This is who you really are. You're a mystic. You're a mystic. Each and every person in here is a mystic. Even Adave and Michaela, they're mystics. You, Adave, you are a mystic. Oh. So rather than grasping on the outside, we want to turn within. And for me, maybe you guys are a little more advanced than I ever was, but for me that takes practice. To turn within, I've got to stop turning without. And as soon as I open my eyes, I'm turning without. I'm looking, oh, the coffee cream needs to be put away, and oh my God, it's 8:30 already. Where has the time gone? I gotta get up and get. I've turned without. I've started dealing at the level of effect. And for me to turn within, I have to have my eyes closed. And so I have to schedule time every day to close my eyes, to turn away from the conditions of the world. Not that they're bad, but they're a distraction when I'm wanting to focus within. That's why we encourage you to meditate. Not so that, and don't play guided meditation. You really can handle silence. You don't have to have a candle flickering to focus on. You want to close your eyes. You want to hear the inner rhythm of the universe. You want to see the inner light. You want to feel that love of the divine. And for me, the only way I can really do that is to focus inside of me. And then somehow, and you know, I'm not trying to get too wooey-wooey, but for me, somehow the doorway opens. And so I go from trying to figure the problem out. Well, Ernest says the solution to every problem's within. The answer to every question is within. Okay, our creek bank is washing downstream. The last bid I got from the engineer was $100,000 to fix the creek bank. Pardon me?
He's wrong.
No. That $100,000 is not bad or wrong.
No.
See, I can't make that wrong. God wants to drop $100 grand on me to fix the creek bank. I'm fine with that. But if I try to find the solution on the outside, like to go pile rocks up or something like that, that's not going to do it. If I go out to try to get money for it, that's not going to do it. What I have to do is I have to know that there is a solution to every problem, an answer to every question, and it is within me. And so I go in there, and I stay with that until I have no anxiety about the creek bank. Until whenever it comes into my awareness, I can simply know that it's perfect, whole, and complete in every way, and how is none of my business. It is not my problem. It is already done at some level in mind. And that's where I stay. And I cannot let myself be shaken from that point, or I will jump hook, line, and sinker into energy that will then create more problem. Does that make sense? So in this idea that it's all within me, that inside of me is the doorway to the infinite, and it's my job to open it wide and to stand there with one foot in the physical world and one foot in the spiritual world, and to live my life from that vantage point. That's the world of the mystic. The mystic is not psychic. Not talking about psychism here. He will spend quite a bit of time on psychic phenomenon. Ernest loved psychic stuff. He went to table tappings and he went to psychics, and he said that if you're going to study mind, you have to study all of it. You can't say, well, this is the good part and this is the bad part. He loved that stuff. He said he sat in a chair once and a cup of water floated through the air from the kitchen into the living room and was placed in his hand. He drank it and then it went back. Love that stuff. Love that stuff. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about going within and opening up a doorway to allow a greater awareness of the presence of the divine, to see the world more clearly when we open our eyes, to leave those things that are not, I don't want to say that they're not important, but they're not serving us. Like, what good does it do to focus on something like the creek bank as it is right now when I know it's whole and complete and healed and healthy and all is well? What good does it do for me to walk out there and go, holy moly? Holy moly, 3 more feet of land has just been washed away, you know, and then there are all the implications to the French Broad and all that stuff. Does no good to do that. And people say, well, what, you're just going to sit in your living room and feel how blissed out spirit is? Yes. Yes, and that will impact the creek bank. And this is a half-baked cake, so you're kind of coming in the middle of it, and a lot of people don't know what's going on out there, but watch and see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if a spaceship's going to come down and zap it all or what. I don't know what's going to happen, but something will happen because truth known demonstrates. Demonstrates my understanding that our entire grounds are safe and healthy and happy and all is well, from the apple trees to the upper parking lot. We've got a historic landmark oak tree up here registered with the United States Forestry Department. This oak tree is 450 years old, has Civil War soldiers buried under it. To the daffodil by the driveway, to the groundhog that lives here. You know, everything on our property is wonderful, it's healthy, it's solid, it's safe, it's stable, because that's what we are. And so that awareness brings that into form. And we'll just watch and see what happens with the creek. Every answer is within you. And the converse of that is there are no answers outside of you. Every solution is within you. There's no solution outside of you. Nobody has your answer or your solution. I don't care how good of a salesperson they are. It is not in essential oils. It is not in a certain body technique. It is not in a new diet. You may enjoy essential oils. God knows I have a drawer of them. I love them. I love body work. I love eating new things in new and interesting ways. I love that. But that's not my answer. That's not my solution. That is the outpicturing of the awareness within me. Does that make sense? Because we're getting a little wooey-wooey here. And this is really where Ernest wanted us to go. He did not want us to stop at manifesting money, and even though he was a big proponent of physical healings, because people were dying, he didn't want us to stop there. He wanted us to go farther. He says that heaven is within you. Heaven is within you.
Even the book said it.
What?
Even the Bible said it.
Even the Bible said that. You are so smart, Michaela. Jesus said that if you think heaven is in the sky, then lo, the birds of the sky will get there before you. If you think heaven is in the sea, then lo, the fish of the sea will get there before you. Heaven is neither in the sky, nor in the sea, nor on the earth. Heaven is within you. It's within you. So if you're looking for heaven, look inside of you. If you're looking for love, where do you look? Inside of you. Nobody can give you your love. You are not going around with an empty love bucket saying, gimme, 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 gimme. I mean, that was my teens. Give me some love, baby, give me some love, give me some love. Except my bucket had holes in it, so as soon as they gave me some love, it drained out. I had to find out that I had love inside of myself, and then, once you find the love inside of you, what happens?
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. And people go, oh, I just love you. Well, of course you do, because I love myself, because I found out that love is inside of me. That's the way it works. Wealth is inside of you. Even if you have money, you'll never be wealthy unless you find it inside of you. It was so important to me when I was in my early 20s and I was studying this, that I would walk the docks of the Fort Lauderdale Marina. And I would talk to the people. I really had the good clothes for it. I had cut off jeans, flip-flops, and a tank top. I was young, I was tan, I was cute, I fit right in. And I would talk to people and I would find that experience of wealth. And then I would go to the Galleria Mall and I would put on what I thought were rich people's clothes. The older that I get, the more money and wealth that I have, the more I realize that rich people look like everybody else. That matter, the richer you are, the more you want to blend in. That's why khaki tan and white are so used in the wardrobes of the very wealthy, because they don't want to stick out. They don't want anyone to say, wow, you've got millions and millions of dollars, can I have some? They don't want to go there. They want to blend in. And when I started to feel that and feel what it's like to go out when I wanted to go out, to order what I wanted to order, and that doesn't mean you pick the most expensive restaurant just to prove a point, or order the most expensive thing on the menu unless you want that. But every time you say, boy, I'd really like to have this, oh no, I can't have that, then you're looking outside of yourself for that which is within you. And everything is within you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Has anybody had that experience of the doorway? Yeah. Yeah. It's a good experience. It really is. It helps me to look around and see none of this is real. You know, and I'll put gas in my car and go home and fix dinner and things like that, but none of this is real. This is all very much an illusion. This is all very much a dream state, or the tiniest point of manifestation in a much greater reality. And it's good for me to be able to go into that greater reality and to get a sense that there is so much more to me than my body, than my age, than my name, than my job, than my bank account, than my car, than my dog, you know, than my husband. There's so much more to me than that, and I'm not just saying it, I know it. I know it because I spend the time with my eyes closed, feeling into there. And I'll grant you, there may be many a day where you don't get there. And it may take a long time before you even have a glimpse. But it's worth it. The glimpse is worth it. Okay.
I've been thinking through a lot of the classes about feeling, thought and feeling.
Mhm.
Some of the teachers of the similar teachings, like St. Germain and Abraham, they talk about thought and feeling, and it doesn't seem like, oh, it's a lot said specifically in Ernest Holmes' writings, but everything you've done tonight is, even before you started using the word, it was about how it felt getting into that place. That feeling state shows us that we're moving into that higher consciousness,
Right.
right? So I had the thought of, so in a way it seems like when we're going inside, we're sort of not isolating ourselves, but just becoming within ourselves, but it's really, the door is really to the one mind that we're all part of,
Right.
right? So that you're in there not really thinking about the creek, but you're in the participation with all the other minds in the one mind. and somewhere, someone else who has, say, an issue to preserve creeks can pick up an inspiration to come and help this creek.
Right,
And you
We're
didn't even
looking
have to ask
Land
for
of
it.
Sky and River Watch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it wasn't like you had to place an order, or they had to go looking for you, and they might not even realize how they ended up here doing this.
And if I feel like I'm getting guidance, I'll take action.
And call it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the dance. You're opening up, you're hanging out in the infinite, and yet you're functioning in the world, but there's an overlap. And so if you're functioning in the world and all of a sudden you get a message to Barbara, a message from the infinite, call Land of Sky, they've got millions of dollars to put in this creek, then I should call. I should call and not be attached. Know that I'm just doing whatever is mine to do, but I'm hanging out in that awareness that the presence of God is all that there is, and that the solution is here and now because it always is. Doesn't matter what it is, it's always here and now. Does that make sense? Hi, Eva.
Can you talk a little bit more about the doorway?
About what?
The doorway?
The doorway, when you close your eyes, when you stop hearing things on the outside, there is a sound inside. Sometimes for me it's an expansion and contraction, and it has like a beat that goes with it. There's a sound inside, maybe it's the blood rushing through my ears, I don't know. But there's a sound inside, there's a feeling, there's a light that you see. And for me, that's the doorway to all that is. And so I leave my physicality behind and I step through the doorway. My job is to stay there as long as possible without having a goal or, okay, that's been 30 seconds, kick ass today. You know, not like that, but just to stay there and to appreciate this, you know, cool rain, warm sunshine, this thing that is different than life in physical form. And the only way I know to do it is to do it. And so you always start off with, how long am I gonna have to do this? I don't feel anything, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything, there's no doorway in me. You start out like that, and then after a while, you kind of settle into it. Well, there may not be a doorway, but you know, it's nice, and this is my spiritual practice, and Barbara says I should do it, so I'm gonna do it. And then you get a glimpse. You know, they talk about it as grabbing a piece of the tiger's tail. Then all you need is a piece. All you need is a little bit. You don't have to ride the tiger. You just need a piece. You just need a glimpse. You just need to touch it. But to do that, you've got to do the work to put yourself in there, and then everything is different, Eva. You come back and everything looks the same, but nothing is the same. And that is the world of the mystic.
Well, the what?
The mystic.
Mystic.
Does that make sense? Good, because I'm talking about things with words that you cannot talk about with words. Joe?
Is what you're talking about similar to what you've mentioned before, how sometimes lovers see a light in each other's eyes?
Oh, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing?
When you're with something that you absolutely love, you let down all of your defenses. You lose yourself. I remember when Matthew was born, I stared at that kid for 3 solid days. Didn't matter whether he was awake or asleep, I just was lost in him. And what was lost was my sense of self. And lovers do the same thing. When you meld into each other, you lose yourself. That's why one reason I'm such a big fan of orgasms. That is the point in which you lose yourself. There is nothing, there is no me, you, here, there, for somehow we were designed to have that moment of ecstasy where we are just, Ram Dass, be here now, period, end of story. And then the mystics say, well, the spiritual orgasm, the spiritual bliss, the spiritual experience is so far beyond the physical. I haven't experienced that yet, you know, but I'm open to it. Perhaps one day on stage. Yes, when you let go of who you think you are, then you can touch who you are. Yes.
But who you are is them and who they are is you. It's
Neither one of you are there.
we're,
It's all an illusion.
Who you are is just spirit in that moment of love. There's only love. Then
Yes.
you let go, and there is no me and you, there is just love.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's who you are. So you let go of who you think you are. I'm Joe. No, you're love, because there's only love.
And the other person is also only love. And it's, you know those infinity mirrors?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. You know,
But they don't even have to be there
Going
with
both
you.
ways.
You can lose yourself in love for them, and they don't even have to be on that same plane. Do you ever just love a child who's just being just acting out and being in their thing, and you just are overcome with this love of them, and you just lose yourself in that moment in the love of them, and they're not matching your energy. They're still being all pissy, but you just lose yourself in love. And to lose yourself in love, I mean, now we're getting to Hafiz and Rumi and the mystics of the world that have said, let it all go. Dance with the beloved. Let that be your calling in life, to experience love, that nothing else matters. Well, you know, for me, other stuff matters in that I want to be able to go out when I want to go out. I want to be able to have what I want to have, do what I want to do, go where I want to go, but I want to do it with love. And so it's my job to practice letting go of all of the limiting ideas, even that this is real. This is not real. My body is not real. You are not real. The only thing that's real is love. The only thing that's real is light. The only thing that's real is joy and bliss. And when you do that and you bring it back into your life, then bodies are healed and things show up, contracts close, houses show up, money is here. It all is just this beautiful unfoldment. There's a story of a teacher, a Hindu teacher in the yoga stories we're going to. Hindu teacher lived in this beautiful palace and had all of had all of his students at his feet, and somebody came up to him and said, oh, well, it's so easy for you to be so peaceful and so loving because you live in this palace and you've got all of this stuff. Let me see if I take you out into the forest and drop you off. Let me see what will happen then. So the guy took the teacher out and dropped him off in the middle of the forest. And he's out there, no food, no water, no palace, no shelter, no nothing. And he's just meditating. And someone walked by and they started this connection. And the person was so transformed by being in the presence of this teacher with all of this love and all of this joy that he said, what are you doing out here? You need shelter, you need a place. I will call my servants. And he called his servants and they brought out the palace and the servants and the food. Because when you stay in that energy, that which moves through you into physical form is of such a clear, high vibration that it's going to manifest in alignment with that. You can use this teaching out of fear and upset to make things happen in your life. But you'll know that they're happening in fear and upset. And it's just not worth it. I mean, maybe in an emergency, if you've got a flat tire and you're skidding, careening on the side of the road or something, to know, I'm safe, do it really with intensity and bring your physical experience back into safety. But as a general daily practice, You want to go to the love, you want to go to the joy, you want to go to the light, you want to spend time going there and getting to know that you. Because this is not you. Who you are is amazing. It's just amazing. It's so beautiful, so wonderful, so perfect, so glorious, so magnificent. And so many people go through life and they don't have a clue. So what I want to encourage you to do is to get to know the real you. And to do that, you have to spend time. You got to close your eyes, shut your mouth, take a little time. Go through the thoughts that are anxious and not happy about this, and then go through the experience where, okay, you've surrendered to it, you're just going to do it for a while and it's okay, and then you'll get a glimpse. And that changes everything, just changes everything. Nothing is ever the same. Anything else? That's what this teaching is about. You know, the to me, by me, through me, as me. I've had the spiritual leader, not the current one, a previous spiritual leader saying that the only level that this teaching will take you to is by me. To me, by me, through me, as me. Good God, they had no idea what the teaching was. If we're staying at by me, we're missing the boat. We've got to go to through me, and then every so often it will be as me. And then everything shows up. It's the weirdest thing. Then you've got more than enough money and everything's working out great. You got, just this aura around you, goes out before you, you leave a little bit behind, flowers perk up in your presence, all that stuff, because you've stepped beyond the veil. Good. Anything else? I'm done. You're going to give. Just for a moment, step to the other side of the veil. It's huge. It's light. It's so full, always overflowing. It is love. It is health. It is wholeness of all kinds. And as we give this gift tonight, we bring that whole energy with the giving. And I know that it cannot be contained, so it fills up the room, pouring forth from each of us, coming from our true self. All the way from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. The energy in this room is rich and blessed. I know that as we give, the natural law of the universe is to take that gift, multiply it, and bring it back to us. But it also takes that sense of wholeness and completion. And it multiplies that and brings it back into our lives. We always have that sense that there is an infinite supply moving through us, out into our world, filling every nook and cranny, every checkbook, every account, every pocket, every wallet. We have more than enough in every moment. And in that fullness, we give this gift tonight, knowing that our very presence comes together to make this center all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is. So it is. Hold that energy. Feel Spirit pouring forth through us. Blessing us as it moves out. Blessing us as it comes back. We are commanding the creative flow of all of life. We command it with our love. We command it with our joy. And I know that everything in these baskets is blessed. That in that process of giving, the best of us touches this center. feel it. So that everyone who thinks about this center, everyone who watches the video, everyone who steps foot in these doors is transformed by that energy that we are. They're home, they're loved, they're whole. All is well, they are healed. And I know that that energy touches every one of us here tonight. Everyone who's ever come and everyone yet to be. And so it is.
Hi, welcome back. Thank you for enjoying Barbara's wonderful class this evening. Thank you for allowing these ideas to come into your life so that you can live that truly magnificent life that you've come to live. And if you would like to support this center, please do so. On our website, the donate button is usually in the upper right-hand corner. All you have to do is click it, and it'll take you to that place where you can make a donation to the center. We are very grateful when you do this. It helps keep our bills paid and helps us take care of our business. And it justifies in your mind that you got something of value tonight. So do that if that works for you. And we bless you. We love you, and we know you're doing exactly what you need to do right here, right now, and always. Have a fantastic week.